Hello and welcome back to my channel. Well, it is the time of year, folks. Kids go back to school. For many, school is a chance to learn and grow. But for very few students, school is nothing more than a babysitting center. Yes, folks, I am talking about the dreaded special education system. Now, honestly, I have no issue with special education if it is done right. When it is done right, the diploma means what it is meant to mean, that the student has successfully completed 12 years of education and has met the criteria in order to receive said diploma with accommodations pursuant to the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. However, when special education is done incorrectly, that diploma is not even worth the paper that it is printed on. High school diplomas are not participation awards, and they should not be treated as such. I was in special education from 3 until I graduated high school at 18, but I have a Bachelor's of Art degree in political science. The issue lays when people do not expect anything. Let me start out with a story. In January of 1989, I started preschool. Now, I was not put in a regular preschool class like my non-disabled peers. Instead, I went to the Kenosha County's physically handicapped / other health impairments class. It was in a basement classroom in the basement of Wilmont Elementary School in Wilmont, Wisconsin. It had students from 3-year-old, like me, all the way up to 21-year-old and all in one class with various disabilities and other health impairments. We went to school like a normal school day, and then we had summer school. We also had physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech. At a teacher's aid's mom was one for a while, but the expectations were set so low that it was embarrassing. One day shortly before I turned 3, my mom and dad took me to visit the school and classroom I would be attending. They introduced us to a student who would soon be turning 21 years old. we left, and as we were walking to the car, my mom started crying and said there was no way our son will be in this classroom until he is 21. That is when my mom and dad started learning about inclusive education. My dad got involved with Parents Educating Parents, or PEP. And they started planning my education goals. They decided that once I was able to go to kindergarten, I was to be included in regular education with supports from kindergarten on in the same school that I would have gone to if I did not have a disability. At first, the administrator was hesitant to let me attend, but my parents threatened legal action. I showed them just how capable I was. Because I was included in regular education, they moved my physical therapy and occupational therapy to my home after school. My PT came year-round, even at Christmas break. I even started doing strength training with my PT when I was 9 or 10. Boy, if I stayed in Wisconsin, I would probably have all the gay guys in high school would want to be my boyfriend, or at least asking if they could take me home with them on a Friday night so they could spend the night with me. When I moved to Pennsylvania in '97, my physical therapy was in the nurse's office and occupational therapy in the resource room at school. The physical therapist was afraid to even touch me. I did active range of motion when I should do passive range of motion. She would just stand there and count while I lifted my leg. It was truly a waste of my time. The occupational therapist was no better. The only justification I could make for having therapy is because I had to have a half credit of physical education to graduate, and I could not participate in the normal physical education class. And there was no physical education special education teacher to do the adaptations for me. I was required and expected to meet all the same criteria as any normal student. I went to all the same classes as my non-disabled peers. The special education teachers just adapted the curriculum to fit my needs. In fact, the only time that I was in the special education classroom was for study hall and to complete quizzes and tests, or if I had speech therapy. But from kindergarten to when I graduated, they bought me assistive technology such as Co-Writer, word prediction software, which I still use today. In grade school, they would scan phonics worksheets into the computer, and I would use my device as the computer single quote S keyboard to complete them. I wish they would have bought me Kurzweil, a screen reader / study tool, so I could have learned how to use it and learned how to study effectively and independently before I went to college. I went to the special education class only for study hall. I was expected to behave, complete the required coursework, just as if I was a normal student. One of my mentors, a man who was a quadriplegic, wanted me to achieve high grades. He told me that I have to work twice as hard to get what I want. If I misbehaved, I was written up and had to go see the principal. I liked and respected Mrs. Z and her son, who was in my grade, and wasn't bad looking himself. Yes, Mom and Dad chewed my butt out when I got home. I told you how children in the foster care system are left out. I met Catherine in 6th grade, and she was in 8th grade, but she was in what they called life skills class. But from what very little interactions I had, there was no actual learning going on. The so-called lessons consisted of them repeating what the teacher read. There was no real work given out. There were no expectations. The only disability that Catherine had was she was blind. I highly doubt they taught her Braille. Do you see the disconnect? I was expected to complete homework, read, write, prepare speeches, write a term paper, plus do all my other work, and she brought toys and makeup to school. Catherine could have been amazing, most likely valedictorian, but because she was a foster child and they were physically and probably mentally abusing her and she was nothing more than a monthly paycheck to them people, she slipped through the cracks. The last time I saw Catherine was at Jason's graduation ceremony in 2002. I unfortunately have lost connection with Catherine. I think she is in a group home or institutionalized. As much as they want to call it, quote, life skills, what life skills are they actually teaching? This is a sad state of affairs, but one I too often see. Special education can be a wonderful tool if it is done right. If it is done poorly, it will be our nation's downfall. The question is, how will we meet this generation's needs? Will we rise up or will we fail them? Please do not forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I will see you soon.